Okay, so actually, I have only let this sit. It was kind of in the sun for probably about 3 hours or so. It's still a little wet, but I'm just gonna. I mean, it's quite dry, but it's not as dried out as it'd be if I let it sit overnight. Anyways, so the parting line on this is you got to kind of figure out where that is, and your material is kind of lapping itself a little bit, so you got to kind of anticipate where that is. You could, if you're very careful, just kind of like give a light score around it if you have material that's kind of obviously in the way that may have overlapped where you put the Vaseline in. But basically, this can be kind of challenging for people, but you wanna remove the top side, and it helps to kind of get a little bit of leverage and just pull the top of the apple off. Okay, so there's the top part, and I'm gonna just set that down out of the way. Now this is usually the part that's more challenging, and what you have to remember is you have that screw that goes into the apple that's your sort of armature for the pour spout. So what I usually try to do is I try to first see if I can get the apple out, pull the whole thing out, and in this case it actually is coming out. It's actually sticking, ironically, more to the pour spout. Okay, so I'm just going to remove, since I've already kind of done this, remove the apple with the screw in it, and now just very carefully I'm going to kind of work the pour spout out. So now I can set this aside. It's kind of a shame to me to be wasteful, but I wouldn't eat the apple. It's been, plaster bandage is really quite benign. It's medical grade, but I still wouldn't eat it. So now you can kind of take your mold and put it together just to kind of check it out, and it should seam together pretty well. You just want to be very careful with these edges. But so there is your mold. A lot of times when people do plaster bandage or plaster bandage molds, and I, I'm a little torn on this. I mean, normally I would say, it's a good thing to have systems of registration. There's really only one way this is going to go together. So sometimes what people do is they'll put a line and another line, so they'll have two marks there, and then they'll have, like one here, and maybe over on this side you'll do like 3 little lines. So then you know which way it goes. But as I said, it's like you have to think about your parting wall on this mold is very specific. There's a little piece of it like broke off there, but you can see it's like it's cast this contour of this edge all the way around your mold. And so when you put the mold together, it really only wants to, as long as it's like sort of in the right place, it really just wants to go in one specific spot back together. So just don't force it. Be careful. So like right here, I don't know if you could see that, but I was a little hasty when I was doing this. So there's like a little piece right there of bandage that I don't really need, right? But we don't want to kind of break and dent that edge. So it should just kind of go together nicely. So you've made your first mold. It's a 2-part plaster bandage apple mold, and we will discuss what to do next and how to cast it. But let's all get to this point, and then I'm going to need you to take pictures. You know, you should have a picture of it so that I can see the parting line. So figure out how to prop it up and take a picture of it like this. And then I would also like you to have a picture. You're gonna have to get further away. I'm in video, so it's super close, but with your mold open so I can see the inside. So, you know, I'm gonna be my own critic here. This is a fine mold. Down here in the bottom, it looks like I got like just a little bit of an air bubble under the surface. So it's fine. You have to remember that when you cast into a mold and you have an air pocket, what's actually worse here, I'll point out a bigger problem. And I have to say I was being very quick when I did this. But this right here, if you can see, right there, that is a tiny little air pocket that in the transition from the apple to the clay pour spout, I trapped a little bubble of air there. So it should look like this on this side, but that's a little air bubble. So when I cast it, you know, that will be a positive in the casting, so you could always kind of chase it off, but it made my pour spout a little bit bigger. So, okay, great. That's it.